Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am your host, Vortex, from MobileMusicPro.com, your home for mobile music production. And if you are new to the channel, what we do here is release weekly videos teaching people how to produce music. Our goal is to get as many people producing music as possible, and the easiest, most accessible way to begin making music is on your iOS device. So if you do want to help us out on our mission, make sure to smash those likes, subscribe, and share out the show. Now in today's video, we're going to be giving you our top 5 picks for the very best AUV3 effect apps of 2020. Despite this being a pretty crazy year, there was actually quite a few music apps still being released. And that trend continued all the way through to December, where we just got MixBox, a brand new release from IK Multimedia, a pretty game-changing app that got released only a few days ago. And that wasn't even the only game-changing app released this year. So it really is becoming apparent that the ecosystem is continuing to evolve, as all of the software such as the AUV3 apps and the DAWs and even the AUV3 standard itself continue to mature. And even the iPads themselves are getting faster and cheaper, as Apple placed their brand new chip in an iPad inside of a $399 price point. So needless to say, we're pretty excited over here at Mobile Music Pro about the future of mobile music production, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen next year. And don't forget about our second Top 2020 video being released next week, where we go over our top 5 picks for the top AUV3 instruments of 2020. And finally, just remember folks, this is our top 5 picks, and we're super excited and interested to hear what yours are, so make sure you place yours in the comments below. And so, with that intro aside, let's get right into showing you our top 5 picks for the best AUV3 effects of 2020. Hello and welcome everybody. We are wishing you the happiest of the happiest from Mobile Music Pro to wherever you are in the world. And we just wanted to offer a brief disclaimer in that this is not a tutorial video where we're going to be teaching you how to use all of these apps. But we did want to briefly explain the apps and how they work and why we find them so special. And again, these are just our top 5 picks, folks, so make sure to leave yours in the comments below. And finally, these apps are not shown in any particular order, where if they do make any of our top lists, you can rest assured that they're all number 1 in our book. Alright, now let's go ahead and get started with our very first app. And the first app that we'll be discussing today is MixBox by IK Multimedia, currently available for $39.99, but that is only for a limited time, and it should pretty much double after the offer is over. Now, MixBox CS packs 70 award-winning mixing processors and creative effects into a convenient 500 series style iPad app. You can create, compare, and save your own custom channel strips or multi-effects chains, or choose from over 600 presets to give your creativity a kickstart. Now what we're going to do here is use the demo sounds already built into the app, and go through a few different presets on a few of these different sounds to give you an idea of what the app sounds like. So let's go ahead and get started here. Put on the old headphones. Now let's go ahead and go over a quick overview of this app so you at least can get semi-familiar with it. As you can see here in this second row, you can have up to 8 different effects per rack, and in the first row you can see you can have up to 8 different racks at a time total, which means you can have up to 64 different effects quickly available with this workflow. Now you can save these different racks as different presets. You can also have individual presets per effect as well. So to bring up a new effect, we would simply select one of these 8 columns here. For example, number 1, we'll just go ahead and tap that. And that will bring up all of your different effect categories, which includes amps, channel strips, delays, distortions, dynamics, EQs, filters, and modulation. Once you bring up any one of these effects, you can have the individual presets available at the bottom. By tapping on this button here on the far left, you can see that we have the individual presets right here. This particular effect, called the British Tube Lead, does come with 5 different presets, including things like Clean Lead, Crunch Lead, Power, Solid Line, and Vintage Rock. Now if we were to go ahead and remove this effect real quick by going back, and then tapping on Empty, and then tapping the bottom left yellow button once more, we can go back to our rack presets, which are available at the bottom of the screen. So we can tap that real quick, and this will bring up our rack presets, where each one of these presets has a number of different effects inside of it. And this is going to be the meat of what we're going to be demoing today. Now, before we do get into these presets, I want to explain one thing here to you folks. So if we were to tap on one of these effects and go into our dynamics category. So to me, these effects here under the dynamics are really where the secret sauce comes from. Because we all have a bunch of different studio quality delays and distortions and EQs, filters, and so on. But up until now, we did not have access to some of these amazing, legendary, classic emulations. So if we were to tap on Black 76, this is clearly emulating the 1176 plugin, which is legendary on bass and vocals. And I very much encourage you to Google each one of these effects and look up the history, because with access to all of these amazing digital effects, sometimes the history gets lost on what they're actually emulating. And then we have our Model 670 emulating a very legendary compressor, literally the compressor that most of the Beatles records were used on. Really, the real-life versions of all of these plugins that IK is emulating are so legendary that they really do cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And in fact, this Model 670 here will cost you $10,000 if you were to buy the real version of it. And so again, folks, there's just a huge history to all of these plugins inside of this dynamics category, so make sure you check that out. Now let's go ahead and give you a taste of what this sounds like. So we're going to bring up one of the default sounds in here. Let's get rid of this 670 first. And what you'll come to notice is that just about every one of these presets in the rack category here will contain at least one of these dynamic effects, because that's just how important they are, folks. So now let's go ahead and hear what this app sounds like. So to do that, we're going to go to the bottom left-hand corner here and tap on the play button. And this is going to give us our audio demos here. So let's go to audio demos and start out with a bass. Let's hear what this sounds like dry. Alright, perfect. Now let's go ahead and apply some of these presets. So what we're going to do is go to the bottom here so we can get our rack presets. Let's go to the bass category and choose first basic bass. We're just going to do a couple of these presets here so you can get an idea. So let's tap on basic bass. Alright, perfect. Now let's go ahead and A/B this real fast so you can hear the difference. So to do that, all we're going to do here is enable and disable the entire rack at once by tapping on this button at the top. So let's first disable that by tapping on the preset here. Alright, perfect. As you can see, these presets are going to drive these sounds louder, giving them more character, certainly giving the bass much more warmth and a bit more grit, just making the overall sound much better and more professional. So let's go through a couple more of these presets. Alright, perfect. Let's go ahead and try something else. Let's go back to our audio demos and try a guitar. Let's hear what that sounds like. Alright, we'll use that. Sounds like an acoustic guitar here. Let's go back to our presets. Let's scroll down to guitar. See if we can find a acoustic here. There we go. Let's try acoustic pop, and we'll try acoustic rock. So let's hit play. Alright, perfect. That sounded great. Definitely enhanced the sound there by just a huge factor, guys. We really wish we could play with this all day, but we do have to move on to our next app. Alright, and the next app that we'll be talking about is Koala FX by Elf Audio, currently available for $3.99. And before we give you the description of this app, make sure to check out our video called How to Create 808 Slides, where we in fact use Koala FX and automate their pitch bend inside of Cubasis to create those slides. Alright, now Koala FX is the ultimate creative effects unit. It offers 16 one-touch effects that you can play intuitively like an instrument, allowing you to effortlessly morph and twist your track into something beautiful. It includes all your favorite mix effects from Koala Sampler, but refined and souped up to allow super smooth cuts, crossfades, and more. So we do have the app pulled up here in AUV3 format inside of Cubasis 3. And in fact, all the apps that we'll be talking about today are specifically AUV3 compatible. Though the first app that we talked about, MixBox, was shown in standalone mode, so we can access those instrument loops and begin applying effects on them. Okay, so let's briefly go over this app. On the far left-hand side, we have our scenes selection. Each one of these different scenes can have different parameters applied to these 16 effects. Above our scene selection, we have our preset browser, where we can use some of the default factory presets or save our own. Now below that, we have our XY slider, which allows us to easily switch between all 8 of our different scenes. And you can always clear all your different effects by tapping on the clear button on the far right-hand side. Now some of these amazing effects here are crush, pitch, comb, ring, reverb, stutter, gate, and filter for the first row, and the second row contains the effects of cutter, reverse, dub, tempo delay, talkbox, vibro flange, dirty, and compressor. So what we're going to do is apply these effects on our 8-bar loop, where we're using the drums from our free sample pack called Essentials Pack 1, which comes with a number of different drum kits available completely free at MobileMusicPro.com. Below that, we have a melody coming from Cymatics, and then we have some hats again coming from our free sample kit. And finally, a melody played in the tape flute instrument inside Cubasis. Alright, so what we're going to do here is just kind of freestyle some of these effects and have some fun. So let's hit play and begin. Alright, there you go. As you can see, we did incorporate the filter here with a number of these different effects, as it seems that once you start adding the filter, everything else just sounds great. And you can always automate these effects as well inside of Cubasis, as we showed you in our How to Create 808 Slides video, but we'll show you that one more time. So in every effect inside of Cubasis, we have our automation button here at the far right-hand corner. So what we're going to do first is create some automation by tapping on our read and write. We'll go back to the beginning of the song here, and let's record an automation and hit play. Alright, perfect. And as you can see, our filter automation did play back perfectly. So hopefully you can see that Koala is an amazing real-time effects processor. Being able to modify these effects with just the tap of a finger does create an amazing ability to have a real-time performance. So thank you again, Elf Audio, for this amazing app. And next up, we have the NuRack FX AUV3 app created by 4pockets.com, currently available for $12.99. Now, NuRack is an AUV3 based multi-channel audio and MIDI effects processor with a difference. It actually allows you to design your own custom effects using the building blocks provided. You have full control over routing, which allows you to create complex audio paths in series or parallel. You can choose whether to use the stock interface or create your own custom interface using the built-in interface builder, which allows you to concentrate your audio components into a single customized effect. Now, I highly recommend you check out Jamie Mallender's channel as he has a bunch of different videos using this effect. You can see that he actually created some of his own custom instruments and makes them available on his Patreon account. So definitely make sure you check that out. Now, we have NuRack here pulled up inside of Cubasis, and the track that we have it pulled up on is our tape flute track. So we'll go ahead and remind you what that sounds like by hitting play. Alright, perfect. Now, let's go ahead and apply NuRack. Now, what I'm going to do is pull up one of these factory presets and then show you around the interface after that. So we have a bunch of presets here pulled up, as you can see. We have the audio gate, auto wah, bit crusher. There's a bunch of different presets in here. So let's go ahead and start with the first one called audio gate. So we'll tap on that. Now, as you can see here, it will bring up this effect. And before we hear what that sounds like, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger and explain some of this UI. Now, the main buttons that you'll be concerned with here is the buttons on the far left-hand side. And the first one is the options menu here at the top left-hand corner, where you'll be able to load and save your presets. Below that, at the very bottom, we have this all-important button right here, which allows us to see all the individual effects inside of our overall effect. Now, as we said, this particular effect is an audio gate, so let's go ahead and dive into this. We'll tap on that button that exposes the different effects inside. And as you can see here, we have the gate effect right here, notated on the left-hand side here where it says gate. To the right of that, we have a scope, and then finally we have a reverb plugin when we scroll all the way to the right. Now, all three of these plugins combined does create this unified plugin. Here you can see the reverb, and on the far left, you can see our gate. Now, let's go ahead and go through a number of these presets and hear what this sounds like. So let's go to the beginning and A/B this. Let's hit play. Alright, very cool. Now let's go ahead and try a couple of different presets. So we'll go back to our list browser. Let's load up the auto wah. As you can see, a number of different effects make up this preset. So let's hit play. There's even some automation going inside of these effects as well. Alright, let's go through a few more. The flanger. Alright, very cool. So as you can see here, guys, you can really design pretty much anything that you want inside of NuRack. And of course, you can always export and import your presets as well. So if you find yourself creating a really cool preset, you can always share that with your friend. Again, this was just a little taste of what NuRack can do, and we hope you'll download it, check this out, and start creating your own plugins as well. Now, the next app we'll be talking about is AudioTune by AudioKit Pro, and this particular app is a limited edition app, so when it's not on sale, it will be going for $99. But when it is on sale, you'll find it for around $3.99. Now, AudioTune, as we said, is the third in a series of 10 limited edition apps being released by AudioKit. It's a new real-time pitch correction AUV3 plugin that allows you to make vocals and instruments sound more in tune or add that creative robotic tuning effects in real time with near zero latency. Now, latency is a big thing, folks, when you're talking about tracking vocals with a bunch of real-time effects. So it's really cool that this app really does use such little resources. Now, what we have here is a vocal track audio that was pulled from our library of many different sample packs. And what we're going to do is demonstrate it both wet and dry so you can see what it sounds like with no effects and with all of the effects stacked on top. So let's go ahead and hear this vocal dry now by itself.
Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say.
Alright, now that was with no effects. Let's apply all of our effects, including the AudioTune app. So we'll tap on our channel strip, Studio EQ, compressor, delay, and AudioTune. Let's hear what this sounds like.
Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say.
Alright, perfect. Now, hopefully you did hear that AudioTune kick in, especially in those higher notes. Currently, we have AudioTune set to the F major scale, as that is the scale that the audio is recorded in. So if we scroll down here, we can see, here it is, the acapella to dry. And again, that is in the F major scale. So as you can see, we do have AudioTune pulled up now, and the UI is very simple. All you have to do is select your scale here on the left-hand side, and then select the amount and speed of the effect. Now, the speed can generally stay right around the center in the middle there, but it is the amount that you want to pay attention to. Now, as you can see, we're only applying a little bit, because a little bit of AudioTune does go a long way. So what we're going to do now is hide all those other effects, and we will solo AudioTune by itself. So we'll go ahead and disable the effect, and we're going to enable and disable the effect as the track plays.
Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say. Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say.
Alright, perfect. Now, when you do stack all these effects up together, it really does make a difference in the mix. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a mix around this vocal to show you today, so we can't really demonstrate this inside of a full mix, but hopefully you do get the idea here. But we can play some drums, so let's go ahead and play some drums with this effect.
Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say. Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anyone take your spirit away. They don't know your heart, mind, and dreams. You have the final say.
Alright, perfect. And that is the AudioTune app, ladies and gentlemen. Super simple to use. You just choose your key. It's got super low latency. So all you have to do pretty much is set it and forget it. And last but not least, folks, we have our final app that we'll be discussing today, and that is WOOTT by Brambos, currently available for $3.99. Now, WOOTT uses a triple band dynamics algorithm with simultaneous downwards and upwards compression that slams all the loud sounds and the dominant aspects of your sound and then blows them all up, including the subtle quiet bits that we're hiding below. And we do have the app pulled up here, and what we're going to do is demonstrate it on a few different sounds, including a bass sound, a muted guitar, and some strings. And like before, let's go ahead and explain the interface before we start playing around with these sounds. So on the far left-hand side here is where you can adjust the amount of compression that you want to apply, and that is split up into the low, medium, and high frequency ranges. In the center is where you can also adjust the amount of compression, and that is once again split up into our low, medium, and high frequency ranges. To adjust these, you simply tap and drag up or down. To the right of that, we have our limiter, our compressor, and our makeup gain, and finally our wet and dry knob. Now what's really great about WOOTT is it comes with a number of professional awesome presets. Let's go ahead and hear what some of these sound like now. What we have here is a bass sound, and we're going to apply the huge 808 preset. So let's go ahead and go back, make sure the effect is disabled, and we'll go ahead and play this for you and then enable the preset as the track is playing. So let's do that now. Alright, perfect. As you can see, that really brought out a bunch of the grit and really raised the low end to a significant amount there. Really giving this bass sound much more character and giving it a bunch more drive to be able to be heard better throughout the mix. Now let's go ahead and try a different sound. We're going to play with our muted guitar, and let's solo that. There we go. Let's bring up our effect plugin here. And here, as you can see, we are using the sparkly guitar preset. So let's disable this and hear what this sounds like by itself, and then enable the effect as the track is playing. Alright, beautiful transients were brought out there, especially in the highs. Now this plugin is actually emulating the OTT plugin originally found in Ableton Live on the desktop. And in the desktop world, people apply the OTT plugins like crazy, pretty much on every single track. And in fact, they usually start stacking them up 2, 3 at a time, especially in those electronic genres when they're really trying to drive those crazy bass sounds. Alright, now finally, let's go ahead and hear this effect on our strings. So let's solo that track. Bring up our effect. Again, using the sparkly guitar preset here. Let's go back and disable the effect and hit play. And that is sounding absolutely fantastic, folks. I wish I could show you this plugin on a bunch of different sounds with a bunch more presets, but we are trying to keep this video relatively short. So we really hope you enjoyed that demonstration. As you can see, this effect can be applied really on any instrument, and really just brings out the best frequencies in all of those instruments. And at such a low price point, folks, you really can't pass this one up. Alright, hello and welcome back everybody. We just can't thank you enough for watching the video this far. And we especially can't thank all the folks watching this live and helping to build out our community. Now we really hope you enjoyed our picks for these top 5 apps, and we just wish that we could have gone into them even more in depth, but we are trying to keep this video relatively short. And please guys, as we said, we are super interested in hearing about your top 5, so make sure you leave those in the comments below. And again, don't forget about our second top 5 2020 2020 video coming out next week where we go over our top 5 picks for the best AUV3 instruments of 2020. And of course, don't forget about our recently launched Discord chat where the conversations can go on long after our live premieres and live streams have ended. As always, we got a lot more videos and content coming your way, so if you want to stay up to date with everything we're doing, make sure to check out our free mailing list available at MobileMusicPro.com. And so, until next time everybody, keep talking music and we'll see you later. Alright, hell. And we especially can't thank all the folks watching these live. And of course, don't forget about our recently launched Discord chat where the chat can go. And so, until next time, everybody, keep talking. And so, until next time, everybody. And so, until next time, everybody, keep talking music.